Hello everyone, welcome to the first lab demo video. In this video, I will explain what the breadboard is and how we use it. What you see in front of you is the breadboard, and we use it to build circuits. Let me start with how this breadboard is made. So we have what we call the power rails up on the top and the bottom. Obviously these can be flipped, it doesn't matter. And typically it is labeled negative, positive, negative, positive, but it doesn't really matter. They're just there for your reference. You can use the top rail as the positive terminal and the bottom rail as a negative, so on and so forth for the bottom side as well. So what they look like is this. If you flip this over, then this is what you see. As you can see, we have these long metal rails run side to side, left to right for these top and bottom. And all of these middle portion are ran top to bottom. So these are the ways that the electricity is going to be flown. So typically you would apply power to these side rails. You don't have to, but typically that's how it's done. So therefore, if you put a wire there with the power, right, then it's going to flow through this rail, through the wire that you connected, and you want it to have it connected to this rail going up and down, sorry. Right, then you would want to also have that connected to this rail, then finally to the very bottom rail, to your negative terminal, to the power supply. But there are many different ways that you can go about this. You can simply just use single side to power and return. You just have to note that the powers are distributed side to side for these top and bottom rails, and in the middle portion it is up and down. There is a major difference between this type of breadboard and this type of breadboard. I don't know if you can notice, but this breadboard, it's got the paint of the blue and then red that's connected or drawn all the way from left to right without any disconnect, right? Whereas this one, it goes left to right, and then in the middle portion there's a little faint disconnect. This is not the paint rubbed off, but it's intentional. They finish drawing that line up until the middle portion and then continues to draw it on the other side all the way to the right. And that is the same case for the bottom rail as well. The difference is if there is a disconnect in the lines, that means they're not physically connected. As you can see, there is a physical disconnect. I don't have that. Typically, this is what you're going to get. I peeled off the bottom side to show you what it looks like. But for this one, it is covered, but because this is all connected. So if I was to rip this bottom side off, you'll see a single rail, not disconnected in the middle from left to right. So what you have to do is that you would want to have these two connected, right? You want to kind of bridge them this way. The reason why they're separated like that is because if you want to use like the double power source, if you want to have power source going here to here, right? So you're only powering, let's say, this half of the breadboard. And if you want to connect it to the different power source, then you can use the right side of the breadboard. But typically, we're not going to be using double power source to connect to our breadboard. So I encourage you, if you don't have this set up already, then use a small jumper wire to join them together. So like I said, we are going to connect the power source from the top using the top rails and then the bottom rails. Typically, let's just see how this nail is not supposed to be really there, but it's just the easy access that we can use the alligator clip to just clip it on. So the positive terminal of the power supply will go right there, and then the negative terminal of the power supply will be connected this way. And if we're building any kind of a circuit, like, including resistors or capacitors, your light bulbs, typically we use the middle body portion of it. So how are these rails look like if you pull them out? They look like these. It's just series of these small rail that just gets plugged in, right? And as you can see, there are like 5 slots for the resistor or the legs of the components to go in, and they represent this. So I have a resistor in front of me, and typically this is going to sit like that, like so, right? And your resistor leg is going to get connected. You can't see, like so, and gets held in there. So now you can see the power is getting distributed from here to here, right? So if you are connecting your resistor in this manner, in the same rail, see, like so, what you just did is you just created a short, because electricity is lazy and this is a obstacle, right? So electricity that's coming in, current that's coming in, it's going to ignore this path because there's much easier path just flows through at the bottom. So this resistor becomes pretty much useless. So you do not want to connect your resistor in that way, in that manner, or side to side for the top and bottom rails. So let's build a circuit. When you are connecting the jumper wires or any components like resistor, capacitor, I want you guys don't not connect in this manner so that these components are raised up. What I want you to do is straighten them out if they're already bent. Grab a needle nose plier, you should have it in your kit. Then just to bend the ends. I'm trying to look through the camera, so it's tricky, but okay. Bend the ends only so that they sit flat with the breadboard. Just looks much more neater, and it's easier for you to troubleshoot and build a circuit instead of having it raised like a bridge. Okay, so let's build a simple series circuit. Imagine I'm going to use this one. Imagine I have the power terminals connected to these nails. So I have to, what that means is I have the current or the power that's flowing through these rails. So if I want that power to continue onto these rails, then I have to make some sort of a jump. So that's where you're going to be using your jumper wires. And I'm going to pick the appropriate length for it. Okay. And just connect it here to here. As you can see now, the power comes through there, and you've built a bridge. It can still be powered all the way across, but you also build a bridge to come across to this body section here as well too. Now, if I want to use a resistor to build a series circuit, I shouldn't have flattened it there. There. So now, see, remember how in this in the body section the power was flowing through, everything was connected from top to bottom. So you will connect it in the same row and go across. Like so. So as you can see, we have the power that's coming in, go across, then from everything here is powered, and now you've used the resistor, provide a path over to this rail, right, this rail. So you're going to grab another resistor, bend the ends, just like the other ones, And you can either go cross, because when we're talking about series, everything is connected in a row, right? So you can either connect it from here to here-ish, let's just say, or you can just go straight across the body. Because remember, as you can see, the top portion of the body and bottom portion of the body are not connected, right? They're not connected. So you have to build a road or the bridge to connect between the top rail and then the bottom rail. So this is what I did, right? As you can see, the power is coming in through that jumper wire. Everything here is powered through the resistor, and everything here is powered. So I put my leg there. Now I provide a path to the bottom of the bottom section of the body, and everything here is now powered. Then that needs to be connected to the very bottom rail where it is a ground. So this is what I'm going to do, like so. Follow the path of the current through there. Everything here is powered. I built a bridge from here to here. Everything here is powered. Through this resistor, everything here is powered. Through that resistor, everything here is powered. Now finally, I provided the path from here, the body, to the very bottom rail, and everything here is power. So if I have a black lead connected there and the red lead connected right there, then you just completed that circuit. You just provided a full path for that current to flow through this resistor number 1, this resistor number 2, back home, which is back to the power source. Yeah, that's how you pretty much build a circuit. Yeah, and it is varied because of these holes are so many, and typically when you're using the breadboard, the common mistake that I see is that you connect it to the wrong rail, like so. Let me just zoom in. Right, you can see that power coming from this way through this resistor. Everything this row is powered, but obviously this is connected to the wrong side, right? So you have a broken circuit. They're physically not connected. They are physically not connected. So then when you're trying to read a voltage or any kind of current, you're going to read 0. So make sure you check that. Always what I do is I always, when my circuit doesn't work or doesn't seem to have a power, I always grab something with the pointy end, pen or something like that. I follow the path of the current, making sure they're all connected. And I see the flaw here disconnect, and then I just pick it up and then put it in the right row or column. Depends which way you look at it. Okay, so that's it. That's how you build a circuit on the breadboard. Please do not connect it, like I said, in this manner. Okay, everything has to be flat to the breadboard so it's easier for you to see. Hope this helped. I'll see you guys in the lab.